Good morning, televiewers, and welcome to this other edition of The Brief, live on my Media Prime Television, a program where we get to dig several layers beneath the major headlines as relayed by newspapers in the country. On today's edition of the program, we are zooming on the recent outing of the newly appointed or nominated ambassador, U.S. ambassador to Cameroon. He was officially installed on the 11th of February 2022 at or in Washington, D.C., and he has promised or issued a stern warning to Ambazonians or those who are perpetrating violence in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. He says his country will no longer support those who are perpetrating violence in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon. We shall equally dwell on the fight, or let me put it that way, the fight, as the newspapers they put it, between the Minister of Sports and Physical Education and the President of FECAFOOT, Samuel Eto'o. We are told by several newspapers today in Cameroon that Samuel Eto'o has put the records straight regarding who is supposed to appoint and fire the head coach of the Indomitable Lions of the country. His message or his correspondent comes shortly after the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Moile Kombi, went on national television talking about the head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon and reasons why he should be maintained after he did not perform well at the just ended AFCON 2021 in Cameroon. Bomotonguina, Gwladys is here with us. Let's find out what the French newspapers have for us this morning. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha, bonjour à vous et merci de nous retrouver une fois de plus pour Débrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur ma Media Prime Télévision. Alors ce matin, nous allons commencer les titres avec le journal Le Jour qui nous parle de promo, de l'ouverture de Promote 2022 au Cameroun. L'industrialisation de l'Afrique est au cœur des débats. Les détails sont donc en page 7 de ce journal. En page 5, le journal nous parle de Rebecca Enonchon, car pour elle, l'Internet est l'oxygène de l'économie numérique. Nous continuons ce matin avec le journal L'économie quotidien qui parle des perspectives de l'Union africaine et l'Union européenne qui s'engagent à intensifier la coopérative scientifique. C'est entre autres ce qui en ressort de du sixième sommet entre les deux organisations. La rencontre a donc eu lieu les 17 et 18 février 2022 à Bruxelles. Les détails sont donc en page 3 de ce journal. Nous clôturons ce matin, mesdames, messieurs, avec le journal Éco-Santé qui nous parle en grand titre des offres de soins de qualité pour parler de l'hôpital des districts de Bouddha qui se démarque. Cette formation sanitaire située dans la région de l'Ouest Cameroun, département de Mbambuto, se affiche donc fière allure, c'est du moins ce que nous reporte le journal Éco-Santé à sa page 6 et 7. Mesdames, messieurs, c'était tout pour cette revue de presse en langue française pour ce jour. Place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Bomotonguina. Gwladys. Let's kickstart this morning with a standoff between the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Moile Kombi, and the President of FECAFOOT, Samuel Eto'o, regarding the head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. The Horizon newspaper this morning is bringing to us the headline, like I earlier mentioned, talking about Samuel Eto'o and the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Moile Kombi. A controversial declaration by Sports Minister, like I earlier mentioned, Professor Narcisse Moile Kombi, on state media in favor of the maintenance of Antonio Conceição as the Indomitable Lions head coach has put him on a collision course with FECAFOOT President Samuel Eto'o. And the paper goes ahead to tell us that he was speaking on CRTV last week. Moile Kombi argued that introducing a new phase might stagnate the growth of the team, which had found cohesion in recent games. He said all the African football trophies won by Cameroon's football team were won under a European coach. The declaration by the Sports and Physical Education Minister, Professor Narcissa Mwele Kombi, prompted a reaction from Eto'o intended to set the records straight concerning the rights to extend or not the Indomitable Lions head coach contract. In a correspondence addressed to the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, FECA Football's Samuel Eto'o pointed out the ministry in no way or had any right whosoever or whatsoever on whether the coach stays or leaves. Samuel Eto'o pointed out to the minister that the law gives FECA Foot full rights over the hiring and firing of coaches for the national team selection. More details in this edition of the Horizon newspaper. Still talking about what is happening at FECA Foot. General Pierre Simenge rejects appointment by Eto'o to head CTPF. The paper tells us that the appointment of General Pierre Simenge as president of the Transitional Council of Professional Football is seen as a move by Samuel Eto'o, president of FECA Foot, to save the former president of the Cameroon Professional Football League, LFPC, from humiliation, has unfortunately been rejected by him. Semenge's appointment last Thursday to head a 7-man team charged with restructuring and management of professional football in Cameroon was also seen as a major concession intended to bring to rest the crisis affecting Cameroon's football. But his rejection of the job now complicates matters for Samuel Eto'o, who is the president of FECA Foot. More details in this edition of the Set newspaper. We stay with the Horizon newspaper to talk diplomacy. This time around, Christopher J. Lamora, who is the new U.S. ambassador in Cameroon, takes oath of office. We are told by the paper that the said ambassador, who was appointed in mid-2021 as the new U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, has officially taken oath of office to occupy his functions in Yaoundé. The swearing-in ceremony for the new American diplomat took place on the 11th of February in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Senate had in December 2021 endorsed the appointment of Christopher J. Lamora as new U.S. ambassador to Cameroon. You can get more details about the profile of the new American diplomat only in this edition of the Horizon newspaper. The Horizon is also interested in the celebration of the journey through Tumfo Barrister Nico Hale Award Gallery. We are told by the paper that Barrister Nico Hale celebrates on Friday, February 25, 2022 at Hotel Sawa Douala God's grace that has been his strength and a refuge in impacting humanity. Celebrations will culminate with the launching of mega magazine Journey Through Tumfo Barrister Nico Hale Award Gallery. The historic the history-making event starts at 3 p.m. prompt at the Sawa Hotel here in the nation's economic capital, Douala. We take you to the Eden newspaper. The Eden is also interested in the celebration of Tumfo Barrister Nico Hale. Barrister Nico Hale, according to the paper, celebrates on Friday, February 25, 2022 at Hotel Sawa Douala God's grace that has been his strength and refuge in impacting humanity. Celebrations, like I earlier mentioned, will culminate with the launching of mega magazine Journey Through Tumfo Barrister Nico Hale Award Gallery. The history-making event starts at 3 p.m. prompt at the Sawa Hotel in Douala. We stay with the Eden newspaper to talk about this other headline that has to do with the Anglophone crisis. Pressures continue to mount on Blinken to hold government accountable to atrocities committed in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon. The fresh pressure comes shortly after Human Rights Watch published damaging reports on the situation of human rights in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, accusing soldiers of having perpetrated acts of gross human rights violations in those English-speaking regions of Cameroon. On to the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post this morning is also interested in the outing of the U.S. ambassador, the new U.S. ambassador to Cameroon. U.S. won't tolerate perpetrators of violence in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. The newly sworn-in United States of America U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, His Excellency Christopher J. Lamora has warned that no one undermining peace in Cameroon has his country's support or tolerance. The senior U.S. diplomat who is expected in Cameroon in the days ahead had sounded a stern warning prior to his confirmation last Friday as ambassador to Cameroon. He was sworn in, as we told you, on the 11th of February as the new U.S. ambassador to Cameroon. That was in Washington, D.C. We stay with the Guardian Post newspaper to talk about this other headline that has to do with the meeting held by Finance Minister with financial operators in Douala. Minfi boss has reassured investors of Cameroon's credibility. Louis-Paul Mutaze says 90% of treasury bonds sell or sold in last 10 years reimbursed already by the government of the Republic of Cameroon. The Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Mutaze, made the assurance or reassurance with investors of Cameroon. That was in Douala recently, telling them that Cameroon is a credible country. They can invest in Cameroon without fear of any issue. Thank you, televiewers, for watching. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. Maitre Alex Ndive is joining us from London as usual. Good morning, Maitre, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to your team, and it's always a pleasure and welcome. Good morning to the beautiful people of Cameroon.
We are beginning this morning with the headline that has to do with the outing of the new U.S. ambassador to Cameroon. He was sworn in, that was on the 11th of February in Washington, D.C., and he did promise or issued a stern warning to perpetrators of violence in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. He said his country will no longer support those perpetrating or championing violence in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. He's expected in Cameroon any day from now.
Action speaks louder than words. I want to start by making it clear. I'm sure you are the one who phrased this question this way. He will no longer supporting violence. I presume they were not supporting violence before. I presume you are the one making that statement. But however, this is my point. I always like to divert sometime before I answer your question. Ambassador Christopher Lamora, what's he? He is what? He is a gay. There is a law in Cameroon. I have nothing against gay. They say Cameroon, c'est un état du droit. I have nothing. I live in UK. I have no problem against gay. But Cameroon have got the law in Cameroon. They are welcoming somebody whose stance or lifestyle is against the law of Cameroon.
But don't you think that he has been imposed on Cameroon?
My point I'm making clearly that they can change that law if Cameroon wants to allow gay in Cameroon. But this cherry picking, they say Cameroon c'est un état de droit. That's my first point about the ambassador.
But are you saying that you are supporting? Are you saying that you want to disrespect the laws of Cameroon by asking?
No, laws are laws. What I do as a lawyer, if I'm against a law, I have to campaign that they should change the law. Insofar as the law is still existing, it must be respected. That's how it is. So, however, that's just a diversion. I go back to your question.
Yes.
You said that the ambassador said he's not going to allow people who are tolerating violence in Cameroon. My point is, the laws of the United States of America are very clear. People have asked that they should chop off people's hands, legs, and live in the United States. Because I distinguish, me personally, those who are fighting for Anglophone crisis are different from this Federal Republic of Amazonia. There's Fongodi Dinka who lives in the UK, in this country. He is the father of Amazonia. He doesn't go around and say they should chop people's hands.
So who are these people? Who are these people, according to you, Maitre? Who are these people?
Their crimes.
Who are these people? Are they criminal, terrorists? Who are they? If you say they are not fighting for what they say they are fighting for.
Listen, I keep on saying this. I started it some time ago. Who is a terrorist? Somebody who uses unlawful violence against the law, especially against civilians, for a political aim. So we have people who are kidnapping people, killing Florence Aya for Florence. A lot of people. You are killing civilians for political aim. That's terrorism. It's in the English dictionary. I'm not the one saying it. You don't need international community to say it. So these people are terrorists, 100%, and they are living in America. There are laws in that country. There are laws that the government of La République can use to bring these people into justice. They keep on blaming America. They can apply the law. I have always
so what is stopping some prominent lawyers like you? Why can't you tell the government to give you the case to buy? Why can't you buy the case and evoke some of the provisions they are talking about so that the extradition can be fast-tracked?
I've made it clear to the government. I don't work for free. I've made it clear to the government. I will stand shoulder to shoulder to support them against the people who are terrorizing our people. But however, the government is part of this, is sponsoring terrorism. I won't call names. I have people who work for the government. The videos, the audios are there. They support the terrorists. I know them. The videos are in public. Government people giving money to these people to attack Cameroonians. So the government knows about that. The government must start by arresting these people who are working in the government who support these people. I will quote you. There's another politician in Cameroon. He said if he was under 50 years old, he would have been in the bushes fighting with these people. Those are people who support terrorism. The government does nothing. So the government knows those things. If you keep on, you say, if I was under 50 years old, I would be with those people in the bushes. What does that mean? It means you're inciting terrorism. But the government keeps quiet. So government sponsor terrorists, and these people are brought to do the same thing. So at the end of the day, we have a government that does not govern.
Even the people we are talking about, they are equally helpless. You are talking about the chairman of the Social Democratic Front Party, the AZF chairman. He too is helpless. He has been kidnapped. He has been kidnapped severally.
If you say those things, I live in the UK. There are statements that you make. We used to have IRA, these Irish Republican Army. They used to bomb places. If you come and say, if I was this, I would support them, then you're promoting terrorism. But people say those things in Cameroon, they walk away scot-free. That is the problem. We are in a total confused state.
So how do you expect America? How do you expect America to help you when you cannot help your own self? How is that possible?
The problem is Americans, they are engaging with us in Cameroon. They are engaging with us. They come there to promote their interests. At the end of the day, let's remove Cameroon from one side. What is important is that if you stay in any country, Western country, you said they should chop people's head. They can use their own national law and put those people in prison. But however, most countries, they look at their interests. When we, Africans, we are fighting against ourselves, is it helping these people, these foreign people, the Western country? It is helping them. They don't care. When Boko Haram is there, when there's problem in Central African Republic, they can take their uranium. They can take their natural resources. So when there is anarchy, entropy in African countries, that's when these people fare well. So they know that. They look at their interests. It's not about if they go around arresting this guy, is it in the interest of the Western world? No. So when there's confusion,
so why should they be saying what they are saying? Why issue statements that will not yield fruit if they cannot go ahead and take action?
That's my point. I'm just saying. I saw him. He said that they are going to promote human rights and democracy in Cameroon. That's what.
But they have always been promoting. America has always been promoting. America has always been promoting
for 40 years. America was created as a country. Is it 1776, July 4th? Democracy started instantaneously. But they keep on saying it's a process for us in Africa. What process? They can do it if they want to do it. Yesterday, President Putin said two eastern part of Ukraine, he has recognized them. End of story. It's not a process. He has recognized them. So if the Americans,
Putin is not UN. Putin is not UN. Vladimir
No,
Putin is
I
not
just
UN.
say there's something in international law, they say recognition of a state or whatsoever. If America, they want to solve the problem in Cameroon or France, they can do it today. They don't want to solve it. It is in their interest that we keep on fighting each other. So that's why we have what we are seeing in the Cameroon.
Gladys.
Regarde ce qui est en train de se passer, le Cameroun a vraiment besoin des États-Unis pour résoudre ce problème ou les Camerounais peuvent résoudre ce problème eux-mêmes.
The difficulty with us, Cameroon, we are not independent. You know about the cooperation agreement of 1959, which President Amadou Ahidjo signed with France.
But Pobia has refused. Pobia has refused to renovate it now, to sign from what we have read.
No, it's a treaty. It's still there. Pobia have not refused. You know, the de facto president of Cameroon is the French ambassador and Macron. I'm sure, Mr. Lasha, you have never had the opportunity to go to the presidency to interview Mr. Biya. But you see the
But I've had the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to interview
and interview your president.
I have had the opportunity to interview the current ambassador, French ambassador to Cameroon. I have some
I'm just saying.
Yes.
You have not got that opportunity as a Cameroon to go and interview President Biya. But the French ambassador can enter and walk in any time. So I tell you, they are the one running Cameroon. Even if you remove Mr. Biya from power today, nothing will change until we kick France out of Cameroon. To answer Gwladys' question, can Cameroonians solve the problem? We cannot. The only way we can solve that problem is to kick France out of Cameroon and Africa. If we don't do that, whoever becomes president,
how is that achievable? How is that achievable? How is that achievable? I read I listened to some videos and images coming from Bangui of a supposed assassination attempt on the president. I don't know, we are still to independently verify that, which is supposedly coming from assailants from France.
How is that possible? It's very simple. The energy that we use, we are fighting Mr. Biya alone. We can use that energy to be anti-France. We can start stopping France. The energy, we can start protesting against France, whether it's abroad or back home. Some years ago, I went to the French embassy and I told them clearly, I have a video about that. We must, if you want independence of the Cameroons, you must kick France out of Cameroon. If France is still there, whoever becomes president will still become slave. That is the truth. There is no other way. My problem in Cameroon is that we don't identify, we don't locate the problem. The problem is, first of all, not Mr. Biya, it's France. When we kick France out of Cameroon, then we can start look about internally as Cameroonians, how can we change that country? If France is still there, we are wasting our time. We've seen that in Burkina Faso. We know what is happening in Mali at the moment, and I know the president of Mali is a dead man walking.
Mais maître, excusez-moi, lorsque les États-Unis, l'ambassadeur des États-Unis parle de remettre, de faire en sorte qu'on respecte les droits des hommes au Cameroun, et à vous écouter, on a l'impression que c'est la France qui gère le Cameroun. Comment est-ce que ça ne va pas faire un conflit d'intérêts? Comment est-ce que les deux puissances vont travailler au Cameroun au même moment?
No, the problem is there are so many countries. There are Nigerian ambassador in Cameroon, Central Africa, South Africa. There's no conflict there. Each country is in a country to represent their interests. But my point is, Cameroon, America is a world police. They have the power. They can tell France. But the thing about these Western countries is that everybody knows its territory. America cannot impose on France. France cannot impose on America. America cannot impose on China, vice versa.
Ça voudrait dire que indirectement, si la France ne voudrait pas que les États-Unis stoppent ce problème de crise au Cameroun, les États-Unis ne le feront pas.
But the point is us, we people. It's not about President Biya.
Okay.
We, the people, we can stand up and rise and tell France. I want to hear that sentiment against France, not even against Mr. Biya. We should push Mr. Biya for some time aside and concentrate about France. When France is gone, we can start talking about the people governing
the question
Cameroon.
Is how will France go? How will France go? That's the
France
question.
have gone, it has happened in
when your money, you still keep your money in their banks.
It happens in any place.
You keep
it
your
happens.
money.
We need
you keep your money in their banks.
Cameroonians. We need people, Cameroonians, to stand against Africans, not only Cameroonians, to start protesting abroad. At home, it's happening now in Mali. It happened in Guinea in 1950-something. It happened in Algeria. It is possible. The Arabs will not allow people to come to the country. It's not about democracy. Arabs, they will not allow people. Arabs, they have dictators as leaders, but they will not allow foreigners to control their country. There are certain things I won't say it on your media, but there is a way how to tell these people to leave their country.
Gaddafi tried and failed. Gaddafi tried and failed. Is that what you are encouraging our heroes?
Not only Gaddafi, Algeria, they did it. They kicked France out of their country. At the moment now, Mali is doing it, although I'm afraid for the life of the president. Sankara tried to do it. In life, you have to try and do something. You keep on doing it. It doesn't mean that one person fails. Another person cannot succeed. France knows the time is up. France knows they are going to leave Africa very soon.
Mais maître, on voit le Mali en train de chasser la France, mais par contre, il y a d'autres pays africains du Sahel, toujours, qui embrassent plutôt la France au même moment où le Mali est en train de se séparer de la France.
To me, they are not really embraced France. Okay. What is happening is that these people who are supporting France, these Africans, they are poodles. They were put in power by France. So they have no choice than to please their master. The guy who took over the president in Mali, it's not France who put him there. He took power through a coup d'etat. There are other presidents like in Gabon, Central Africa, all those countries, they were put there by France. I'm sure some of you have seen a video, video about former President Idriss Déby. He said France asked him to change the constitution to remain in power. These people are being controlled by France. I'm sorry to say so. When I come here, I scrutinize before we end account. It's not hatred. Mr. Biya is being controlled by France. Mr. Biya have no power. His power is only on Cameroonians. When he comes outside, you see him running to go and see a small boy, Macron.
Maître, before we end, you have just 1 minute. Are you not worried with this wave of coup d'etat sweeping across the African continent? When the American diplomat talk about democracy, you were complaining. Are you not also worried that democracy is collapsing in Cameroon or in Africa?
I'm not a fan of African democracy. The Western world was not developed by Democrats. It was developed by dictators. So if Cameroon can be developed and we don't have democracy, I would prefer that development. Development first, democracy later on. They use democracy to fool us in Africa. 2 million people will vote for Mr. Biya out of 28 million people in the country. They say it's democracy. Let's keep democracy aside for the moment.
So you are saying that those who are saying Mr. Biya is a dictator is right after all.
Mr. Biya is not a benevolent despot. He's not that type of a person. If you are a dictator like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, those dictators, they develop their country. I would have loved Mr. Biya as a president. But he doesn't develop our country. All our utility company are owned by foreigners. From water company, diamond, everything is controlled by foreigners. So Mr. Biya is not a patron.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maitre Alex. Thank you to televiewers of My Media Prime Television for watching this second edition of the program for the week, which was produced by Christain, Tebong, who were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Tomorrow is another day. Bye-bye.
You like the best music industry in Central Africa?